Good afternoon, Cardinals, and thanks for tuning in to this week's broadcast. I'm Amanda Ramos.
And I'm Emily Esquivel. Last week, UIW hosted the San Antonio Association of Hispanic Journalists as they asked a panel of public officials about Latino voting issues and how Hispanic millennials will be impacting this upcoming presidential election. Here's more on the story.
UIW hosted the Latino Voting Issue Symposium presented by the San Antonio Association of Hispanic Journalists on September 24th. The San Antonio Association of Hispanic Journalists asked the panel of public officials questions about the impact Hispanic millennials will have in the 2016 presidential election.
This election cycle has been different, to say the least. We do know that Hispanics and Latinos, they're going to turn out in record numbers this year around, and we felt that we needed to do something about it, to talk about it. We have one candidate who seemingly is pushing a divisive agenda. We have another candidate who a lot of people simply don't trust. So we felt that, we kind of felt that maybe we were a bit underrepresented in this election cycle, and so we wanted to, shed some light on it, for lack of a better term.
According to U.S. Representative Henry Corread, 27.3 million Hispanics are eligible to vote in 2016 out of 57 million Hispanics that we have in the United States. It is estimated that for the next 2 decades, 50,000 of Hispanics per month will turn 18 years old and become eligible to vote.
I learned a lot today, honestly, because this is my first time voting in November, and it's like a crazy race. So it's good to get some more info on it and what people have to say. And they did touch on some topics that I was interested in, like the Green Party, and they were really relating to us as the millennials. So I was really interested in what they were saying.
State Representative Diego Bernal believes millennials are more interested in results. The millennials like to see their vote become something. He thinks for millennials, electing the right person is half of their vote, and the other half is what the person does with that vote.
Millennials are the most, quote-unquote, the most educated, the most connected, the most savvy, and historically, younger voters don't turn out in droves, even though there's always a huge media campaign to push them to vote. And hopefully that will change this coming November. Hopefully younger voters will turn out more so than ever before.
October 11th is the last day to register to vote. For more information on how to register to vote, go to the Center of Civic Leadership. I am Priscilla Aguirre, reporting for UIWtv.
This election is very different from any election we've seen in the past, and now more than ever, it is important that millennials take advantage of their constitutional rights as voters. Every vote matters, and it's important to let our voices be heard. Over 80 million people tuned in this past Monday to watch Trump and Clinton go head-to-head, setting a new record in American televised presidential debate history. We wanted to find out what UIW students thought about the debate, so we went around campus to get some answers.
Is more about having a response to each other rather than answering the questions. About the parts that I did catch, it was more like when the question was asked, it was more, okay, well, let me get back to you on that. Let me answer to what they said and he said, she said, more of a thing. So it was more like more of a debate on having answers for each other's comebacks rather than actually answering the questions for us to see how they plan on tackling the issues that they were talked about.
Honestly, I felt it was very, very hypocritical because, they contradict themselves so much and they're trying to win over the same people, but they keep contradicting, they keep flip-flopping, and nobody's really true. And I feel like, honestly, we need Obama to stay for 4 more years so we can get our stuff together, because I don't even like our options. Like, I'm voting because, I'm trying to get one of the better evils. It sucks that we're down to these two.
I was unlucky enough to see the whole thing. It was exactly what you would expect from, like, the candidates being how they are. But Hillary, surprisingly, held really well. Like, she was very professional about responding. Like, she had ideas for comebacks before he said anything stupid. And so it was kind of immediate, and in that sense it was really good. Like, she just had good composure and definitely seemed like a leader in that debate, compared to Trump especially, who was kind of throwing a fit about every little thing that he couldn't perfectly respond to.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Again, Hillary Clinton stood her ground pretty well, but I was expecting Trump to have some ace up his sleeve. I was expecting him to have something because of the Snapchat filters, and I feel like he really wanted a bunch of people to watch the debate. So I was like, maybe he's like gonna unveil something new, and then it was just him kind of being like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, like more or less, and like almost everything he said is just like incorrect in some way. Like, not, you know, like, it's my opinion that it's incorrect, like factually that is not right.
Those were some interesting opinions from our very own UIW students. This year's election will definitely be one to keep up with. Now for news around the world. Presidential candidate Donald Trump weighed in on NFL player Colin Kaepernick's silent protest of kneeling during the national anthem at games. Trump recently told a conservative Seattle radio talk show he thinks Kaepernick's actions are terrible and the San Francisco 49ers quarterback should find another country to live in. All this after Kaepernick called Trump openly racist last month. Here's what Kaepernick had to say.
You know, that's a very ignorant statement that if you don't agree with what's going on here and that if you want justice and liberty and freedom for all, that you should leave the country. No, he always says, make America great again. Well, America's never been great for people of color. And no, that's something that needs to be addressed. Let's make America great for the first time.
A duo with one person dressed as a clown walked into a Memphis bank with explosives in one hand demanding money. Police say the robbers got away with an undisclosed amount of cash. No one was hurt, but police are concerned the tactic may lead to copycat actions and even turn simple clown pranks into a deadly situation because of fear.
One of Israel's founding fathers, Shimon Peres, is dead at the age of 93. He died early Wednesday at Sheba Medical Center outside of Tel Aviv. Peres suffered a massive stroke 2 weeks ago. He had been stable, but doctors say he took a turn for the worse Tuesday. Peres served as Israel's prime minister twice and was working for the Middle East peace.
Reports of a gunman sent parents rushing to a South Carolina elementary school Wednesday afternoon. 2 children and a teacher from Townville Elementary were injured after the gunman opened fire. The Anderson County Sheriff's Department says a teenager walked onto the school playground with a handgun and shot 3 people before he was taken down by a volunteer fireman. 1 child and the teacher were released from an area hospital, while the second child remains hospitalized in Greenville after being airlifted there. No word on when that child will be released.
Now stay tuned for your entertainment scoop.
This is the city where danger lurks. Today, a new creature walks among us, terrorizing innocent citizens. They prowl the streets alone and in packs, causing mayhem, destruction, and carnage. Warning, until this threat can be contained, we must all be on the lookout for the dreaded digital deadwalkers. They're not looking out for you.
Dude! Engage!
A public service safety message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep everyone well connected.
Sorry.
With strong, healthy bones.
Hey Cardinal fans, my name is Clarissa Rendon and welcome to UIWtv Entertainment. Hope your fall semester is going great, almost halfway done. National Hispanic Heritage Month kicked off September 15th and runs until October 15th. Students had this opportunity to celebrate the histories, contributions, and cultures of all Latin countries. Amanda Ramos has a story. Let's see how students celebrated on campus.
Hey Cardinals, we're here on Dubuis Lawn where UIW campus activities were just hosted Arriba. Let's see what went down for the Latin celebration.
We were celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month and we tried to include Cuban, Colombian, all the Latin American community instead of just focusing on Mexican, which is what we're mostly used to celebrating.
My favorite part of the event honestly had to be the vibe that I got from everybody. It was such a fun environment to be around, dancing, everybody was like singing along, it was just great.
My favorite part was serving the food. I actually got to serve, so seeing everyone's smiles and they enjoyed my smile, so that was really nice.
It was awesome to see so many people celebrating the Hispanic culture in such a fun way. Reporting for UIWtv, I'm Amanda Ramos.
I would love to go dancing and now have some delicious food. To learn more about events like Arriba, be sure to stay up to date with the Campus Activities Board website. Now, we all know students need a break time to time. If you ever want to watch a free movie around San Antonio, make sure to consider Slab Cinema. This past week, Slab Cinema hosted a showing of American Graffiti at the Old Mission Drive-In Theater. It even featured a classic car show. They had live music, food booths, and some of the coolest cars around San Antonio. Here is a Jason Finley scoop on what he had to see.
Mission Marquee Plaza recently held a free outdoor screening of the movie American Graffiti, and Push Rod's Cars held a classic car show. The evening began with musical artists Bad Breath and D.T. Buffkin relaxing fans with their smooth Saturday night and Sunday morning musical genre. Spectators of all ages soaked in the festive atmosphere as local vendors provided delicious snacks for all to enjoy. And amidst all the excitement, Push Rod's Car Club lined up their vintage beauties to display the treasures of times gone by. Nostalgia ran high as car enthusiasts showcased the fruits of their dedication and restoration efforts. There were flames, hot rods, classics, and a full array of masterpieces to take in. Finally, as the evening dusk faded, a moonlit night provided the perfect backdrop for the outdoor viewing of the classic movie American Graffiti on the newly restored Mission Drive-In. Reporting for UIWtv, I'm Jason Finley.
Thanks, Jason. Those are pretty cool cars. Slab Cinema screens movies all around the city. You can find a list of upcoming showings on slabcinema.com. Not only can students unwind with a movie, they can also spend time with animals. San Antonio Pets Alive is known for its volunteer opportunities. Students can visit the shelter near campus and de-stress while playing with puppies. Recently, they've been raising awareness for Chihuahuas. That's right, those cute little adorable Chihuahuas. The Texas Chihuahua Races was hosted to raise awareness about adoption. Michael Alleman brings us a story. Let's see why it's very important to find a loving home for those little ones.
We're here at Burleson Yard Beer Garden, where SAPA and Texas Chihuahua Rescue have teamed up to create the first annual Texas Chihuahua Races.
This is actually our first annual Chihuahua race for SAPA. There are other organizations here in town that have done them. So we kind of took the idea and thought it would be really fun, a really fun family-friendly event. We are hoping to make this an annual event, so many more in the future. We always have our events at dog-friendly spots, so people can come bring their own personal pets. It doesn't have to necessarily be a Chihuahua. So since this is an evening event for us and we like to partner with other organizations, we do have a lot of Chihuahuas for adoption in our shelter, but we did choose to partner with Texas Chihuahua Rescue, who is also here with adoptable pets. Most of the pets that you see here, though, are owned, but the Texas Chihuahua Rescue is where we would go for adoptions. The purpose of this event is to raise awareness not only about San Antonio Pets Alive, but also about just Chihuahua population in general.
This is Trace Leches. He's a 2-year-old Chihuahua. He came out of the animal control facility here in San Antonio. Chihuahuas are the second most euthanized breed behind pit bulls. So it's a big plight here in this area. We really need to focus on spay and neuter.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tres Leches. Well, that concludes the Texas Chihuahua races here at Burleson Yard. I'm Mike Wallaman, reporting for UIWtv.
Thanks, Michael. Those Chihuahuas deserve a loving home. Well, that's all for today, but we'll be back in 2 weeks with more entertainment news. Until then, you can have our Cardinal calendar view. Students can be sure to attend upcoming events on campus like UIW National Night Out on October 4th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. outside the Convocation Center. They'll have free food, shirts, contests, and even a lip sync battle. Also, the Theater Arts Department's latest production, The Day Room, opens at Cheever Theater and runs from September 30th to October 8th. UIW students and faculty will be able to get in free with their UIW ID. Showtimes are available on their website. Keep your Cardinal calendar open and get involved on campus. I'm Clarissa Rendon, and stick around for UIWtv Español.
Hola Cardenales, mi nombre es Daniel Janselson y estas son las noticias de UIWtv en español. El primer debate presidencial entre el candidato republicano Donald Trump y la candidata demócrata Hillary Clinton rompieron récords de audiencia el pasado lunes 26 de septiembre. De acuerdo a las estadísticas de la compañía Nielsen, el debate recaudó 84 millones de espectadores, cifra que sobrepasó los 80 millones de televidentes del debate entre Jimmy Carter y Ronald Reagan en 1980. De las más de 12 cadenas televisivas que transmitieron este evento, NBC recaudó el mayor número de espectadores, sobrepasando las cifras de ABC, CBS y Fox News. En cuanto a plataformas en línea, las transmisiones en vivo en YouTube registraron hasta 2.5 millones de usuarios simultáneamente. Durante el debate, Trump lideró las charlas en redes sociales con un 79% de popularidad en Facebook y un 62% en Twitter, mientras que los temas más discutidos en las redes fueron los impuestos y la economía. El segundo debate presidencial se llevará a cabo el domingo 9 de octubre en la Universidad de Washington en San Luis, Missouri. En Siria, ataques en una panadería y 2 hospitales dejaron al menos 18 muertos. Los ataques se registraron en la ciudad de Alepo durante batallas entre el ejército y rebeldes sirios. Según informes, 6 personas murieron el miércoles por la mañana durante un bombardeo en una panadería al este de la ciudad, mientras que un grupo de personas hacía fila para comprar pan. De acuerdo a grupos activistas, se espera que el número de muertos aumente. Por otro lado, ataques aéreos golpearon las proximidades de 2 hospitales. Entre los afectados se encuentra el hospital más grande al este de Alepo. Dichos ataques ocasionaron graves daños a los materiales al edificio, lo cual causó la suspensión de la actividad del hospital, dejando a pacientes sin la atención necesaria. Según un vocero de la Casa Blanca, el presidente de los Estados Unidos, Barack Obama, está profundamente preocupado por la situación en Siria. De acuerdo a la Dirección de Salud del grupo rebelde que controla Alepo, se reportaron 18 muertos, de los cuales 6 eran niños. Y en otras noticias, ¿te gustaría vivir en Marte? En unos años esto podrá ser posible. El director de la firma aeroespacial SpaceX, Elon Musk, afirmó que su equipo está trabajando en reducir el costo para viajar a Marte. De acuerdo a Musk, la meta es reducir de manera exponencial el precio actual de $10,000 millones por persona. Para poder reducir el precio a $100,000, Musk explicó que está trabajando en darle a sus naves la capacidad de ser reutilizadas hasta 15 veces y poder llevar entre 80 y 100 personas a la vez. Durante el Congreso Internacional de Astronáutica, SpaceX reveló que el prototipo del cohete no solo servirá para transportar a humanos a Marte, sino que se espera que sea empleado para llegar a otros lugares de la galaxia. Sea lo que sea, si en verdad quieres visitar el planeta rojo, empieza a ahorrar dinero ahorita y esperemos que en unos años sea posible. Bueno, cardenales, estas son todas las noticias en español por el día de hoy. Soy Daniel Janselson y ahora los dejo con el segmento de deportes.
Hey Cardinal fans, I'm Gabrielle Estrada and thanks for joining me as we give you the rundown for UIW sports news here on campus. In Cardinal soccer, both the men and the women were back in action this last Monday here at Benson Stadium. The women took a strong win at home, defeating Nicholls State 3-0 and taking the Southland win. The men's soccer team also claimed victory this last Monday in a nail-biter against Central Arkansas, where the Cardinals managed to take the win in overtime, 2-1. In Cardinal football, the men's played McNeese State last Saturday and found themselves in a 28-7 deficit at the end of the half. The Cardinals climbed their way back into the game but ran out of time as they fell to McNeese 42-35. Their next game is at Texas State this Saturday and are looking for a win. The fencing team got a new facility and Sissy Gutierrez attended the opening ceremony.
A dedication was held to name the UIW Fencing Center that sits on the campus of St. Anthony's High School in honor of Dr. Timothy Henrich, who is a kinesiology professor at the University of the Incarnate Word. His contributions to the university and the fencing center were the highlight of the morning. Friends, family, and former students of Dr. Henrich gathered that morning to recognize his accomplishments as a former U.S. modern pentathlon team member and professor. Taylor Potts, a former student of Dr. Henrich, said he was an incredibly intelligent man and professor that enjoyed sharing his wealth and knowledge with his students. He made an incredible impact here at UIW. I got to sit down with UIW fencing coach John Burrow, who expressed his gratitude for the fencing center from his former friend.
The fencing place here, our center, and the team would be impossible. I didn't think it could actually happen. This is, in my opinion, a miracle. In a football state such as Texas, to get a fencing team is unbelievable. And it is the only, in my opinion, not my opinion, in my knowledge, it's the only Division I school who has ever started a fencing team from scratch since before I started fencing in 1971.
Thank you, Dr. Henrich. You are sorely missed. The University of the Incarnate Word and its fencing team are forever indebted to you. I'm Sissy G, reporting for UIWtv.
The men's basketball team hosted their 8th annual Wild Game Dinner with special guest Spurs head coach, Coach Popovich. UIWTV's Kelsey Johnson was able to attend the event.
Hey Cardinal fans, we're here at Leon Springs Dance Hall where the men's basketball team is hosting the annual Wild Game Dinner with special guest appearance from Spurs head coach Greg Popovich.
Well, this is the 8th year we've done this. It's the Wild Game Dinner. Mike Buechler and Dr. Agnesi started it to help our operating budget through all our friends and university people to help men's basketball and the women's program. So we're excited. We have a great opener at Texas November 11th. It's going to be on ESPN or Longhorn Network, so we're excited about that.
But what he and others are most anticipating is the arrival of a basketball legend.
You know, Coach Pop, I've known for about 30 years. I don't want to give my age away, but for him to come over here, it's special.
He's one of the best of all times, and I'm just thankful that he's here tonight. He'll really help us.
I am pretty excited. I think he's one of the top coaches in the NBA. So I mean, anytime you have a big basketball celebrity like that, I mean that helps a lot for guys like us trying to reach the goal of the NBA. And of course, I mean he's an NBA coach, so I mean that's always the goal.
Definitely excited to meet him. I hope that I can just get a chance to pick his brain a little bit. You know, he knows so much about basketball. I'm just hoping that I can get a little bit of knowledge from him.
And I got an exclusive interview with the legend himself. All right, so what is it about UIW that attracts the Spurs organization?
Well, this is hometown stuff, right?
Right.
And UIW has done a great job in so many areas, both on the academic side and the athletic side, the community side. They reflect the same principles and goals that we have with the Spurs. That's one reason. Kenny Burmeister has been a good friend for many, many years. The most energetic man in show business. He's incredible. I always say if I had half his energy, we'd have 10 championships. He's an unbelievable guy. So the class of the school and him being such a good friend makes it easy for me to come here when he invited me, so that's why I'm here.
And then we saw you talking to the guys in the huddle. What advice did you give to them?
You know, I didn't really want to harangue them with leadership and how this should be done or that should be done. We mostly talked about our players. They really wanted to know a lot about our players and why we do this or why we do that.
All right, well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it.
It's fun to be here.
Thank you. For UIWtv, I'm Kelsey Johnson.
Thanks, Kelsey. I'll be sure to go next year so I can get my own picture with Coach Popovich. In Cardinal volleyball, the women fell to Abilene Christian's Wildcats in 5 sets. This was the women's first Southland Conference loss. The Cardinal volleyball team will be back in action at home this Saturday at 1 p.m. as they continue Southland Conference play as they face Northwestern State. The Cardinals men's and women's cross-country team will be traveling to Arkansas State tomorrow to compete Friday morning. The team will compete in their only race in San Antonio at the 11th annual UIW Invitational next Saturday at McAllister Park. Let's go out and support to help them get the win. The races begin at 9 a.m. Well, that's all we have for you today for UIW Sports News. I'm Gabrielle Estrada, and until next time, let's go Cardinals.
Greetings, Cardinals. I'm your meteorologist, Jason Finley, here for Cardinal Weather. Now let's have a look at what's going on. This is a national image showing all the weather that's happening over the United States. There is a ridge of high pressure that is producing some showers over the Arizona region, New Mexico, the Four Corners area, but that's being confined over there. East of the ridge, there's cool, dry continental air that's funneling down from the plains and bringing those nice temperatures that we're feeling here in San Antonio. West of that, there's a cutoff low pressure over Ohio and Indiana, which is funneling up Gulf moisture all the way from the Gulf Stream and producing rain showers for Virginia, Maryland, all the way up into Pennsylvania. Now, I talked a little bit about those cool temperatures. For us, let's have an even closer look at what's going on. Current conditions, our current temperatures, we can see that cooler air, 67 degrees up by Kerrville, 67 in the San Antonio metropolitan area. Of course, as you head down south, temperatures are a little bit warmer with the 71 out by Del Rio. Cotulla is seeing 76 degrees, and then warmer temperatures still by the Gulf, 74 by Gonzales, and Victoria at 76 degrees. Now, Jason, you've been asking me, Jason, how long are these temperatures going to last? Looking at our futurecast, we can see the ridge of high pressure is pretty much staying in place over Arizona and New Mexico. Of course, as the weekend arrives, come Saturday, there's cloudiness that's going to spill over into western Texas and eventually into our area. But that's the most that we'll get from that weakening ridge of high pressure. And then looking even further into the future, Friday, no chance of rain. The weather's looking great. Clear skies and these nice temperatures. High temperature forecast for today, for tomorrow of 82 degrees with a cool of 61. And then Saturday, 85 degrees, high temperature of 86 on Sunday. So great weather for the men's soccer team. The men's soccer match against the Air Force come Sunday. Go Cardinals. And then, of course, the weather models are showing a chance of precipitation come Tuesday with at 20%. I would actually push that back a little bit further into the future as the next weather maker arrives mid next week. All right, thank you for joining me for the weather. Have a great day, Cardinals.
Well, that's all we have for this week, Cardinals.
Make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in, and let's go Cardinals.